I put this shit on Jay Prince. I put this shit on Senior. My little nigga from Mississippi smacked the fuck out of Junior. Oh my grandma. Listen, you got that chain on, somebody smacking me. When I wouldn't shank it. I add little shank on this bitch. Junior came with that drunk shit like he all that. Whoa! Oh my grandma, boy, we don't even play like that. Shit, I don't never do that. Get what Junior said? Nigga flew to the door. That nigga flew to the other side of the door on my grandma's grave flew. Nigga, what the? I like
Jay Prince Jr. was moving around Houston like he couldn't be touched, carrying himself like the city was his personal playground just like his father built it, acting like contracts and artists with chess pieces he could move however he wanted, until one of Rap-A-Lot's own artists allegedly caught him slipping and nearly sent him to his maker over a contract dispute that had been boiling for months. This wasn't just tension. This was pressure building behind closed doors because somebody felt played and trapped in a deal they couldn't escape. I'm dead serious when I say this might be one of the wildest industry power clashes happening right now. But before we even touch that viral footage shaking timelines, we need to rewind and break down how this whole situation even started, because the backstory is crazy on a different level. First off, we gotta understand Rap-A-Lot Records and how it's structured, because once you see how the machine works, everything else starts clicking into place. Rap-A-Lot Records was founded by Jay Prince Sr. back in the day, and they had heavy hitters like Scarface and the Ghetto Boys, real Houston legends who helped put the South on the map when the industry barely looked below Atlanta. That label was once the crown jewel of Texas hip-hop, no debate. But here's the twist. A lot of Houston artists today don't even want to sign there anymore. The biggest name to ever come out of Houston, and local talent is moving cautious like something feels off. There's a reason for that, and it's not random gossip. The way the label allegedly structures some deals has had people side-eyeing it for years. Artists get approached when they're desperate, when money is tight, legal problems are stacking up, and they need fast cash. The promises sound amazing. Protection, promotion, connections, industry muscle, but what some artists later claim is that the contracts can be extremely one-sided, with massive percentages going back to the label. We're talking about situations where artists feel like most of their revenue disappears before it even touches their hands. On top of that, the label reportedly controls distribution channels, YouTube, streaming platforms, third-party companies handling payouts, meaning artists sometimes don't even have full control of their own content. Meanwhile, the label brand keeps growing bigger and bigger. That imbalance is exactly why a new wave of Houston artists are choosing independence instead of signing away ownership. They'd rather grind slow and own everything than sign something they regret later. Ask yourself, would you work somewhere if you barely saw your paycheck? Most people would walk away fast. That's why so many up-and-coming artists in Houston have decided to stay independent. They've watched situations unfold over the years and learned from what they saw. They want their masters, their publishing, their freedom. And then there's one artist who allegedly learned this lesson the hard way, Honeycomb Brazy. Now this is where things take a sharp turn. Honeycomb Brazy, whose real name is Nashawn Jones, is from Mobile, Alabama, and his upbringing was rough from the jump. In 2021, his grandparents tragically lost their lives in a house fire that authorities investigated as a violent incident, possibly tied to ongoing disputes in the area. His father is serving a life sentence, and his mother struggled to hold things together in public housing. Brazy grew up surrounded by survival mode energy, not luxury, not privilege, just trying to make it through each day. Mobile isn't known for endless opportunity, and for a lot of young people there, music feels like the only exit door. In 2020, Brazy dropped a freestyle that exploded online. Millions of views, heavy street support, and attention from major names. That's when Jay Prince Sr. reportedly stepped in with a deal offer. Imagine being young, carrying family trauma, wanting to fix everything, and then a legend reaches out with an opportunity. That's pressure mixed with hope all at once. Brazy signed with Rap-A-Lot in the summer of 2020. He received the Mob Ties chain, a symbolic piece representing affiliation and loyalty. He was seen riding through Houston in luxury vehicles, skyline glowing, cameras rolling, looking like he finally broke through the struggle. In interviews, he said he signed not for fame, not for clout, but to help his family, to try and support legal efforts for his father and give his mother stability. That was the goal. But here's where things reportedly got messy. Brazy claimed he was promised real security protection. He was told he would be looked after, that he was part of something solid. However, later accusations suggested that some of the security provided was simply associates from the streets, not licensed professionals. That's a serious claim. If true, that's not elite protection, that's risky positioning. Then, December 2023 happens. Brazy is riding in a Cadillac Escalade along I-65 with these so-called security members when police pulled the vehicle over. According to court reports, firearms were discovered during the stop. What makes it controversial is the allegation that the weapons were not originally his and that he was placed in a difficult legal position when law enforcement intervened. Authorities charge Honeycomb Brazy in connection with the weapons found during the traffic stop. Now, the big question hanging over everything is this: was this just bad luck, poor decisions, or a setup created by deeper tensions behind the scenes? That's what has people talking, because when contracts, loyalty, street politics, and legal pressure collide, situations can spiral fast. And this one exploded in a way nobody expected.
Working as a bodyguard for a Mobile rapper known as Honeycomb Brazy pleading guilty today to a federal gun charge. Miguel Hall pleading to being a felon, convicted in possession of a firearm. That charge stems from a traffic stop from a Mobile County Sheriff deputy on I-65 in December. Hall admitted he was not allowed to have a gun because of 4 prior felony convictions in Texas. Officers found an AR pistol near where...
Are we really surprised at this point? Brazy sitting in that SUV thinking he's fully protected, thinking the people around him are solid, thinking the label made sure he was safe. And then when everything goes left, he's the only one holding the charge. The so-called security, they walk away clean. No charges, no headlines, no court dates, just Brazy facing federal time by himself. That's the part that makes people raise their eyebrows. And think about the pressure in that moment. Police lights flashing, weapons found in the car, confusion everywhere. According to Brazy's side, those firearms weren't even his. He says they were handed off to him right before the stop. Now imagine being in that split-second decision. Do you point fingers and shift blame, or do you stay quiet and deal with it? He chose silence. He pled guilty. He took the time instead of putting everything on trial and possibly putting a target on his back. That's not a small decision. That's life-altering. He even claimed he had paperwork supporting previous self-defense situations, documents that could have strengthened his arguments in court. But fighting it would have opened doors to questions about who hired the security, who placed who in that vehicle, and who was responsible for what. And from his perspective, that could have escalated beyond the courtroom. So he accepted the plea. That's heavy. Now, while he's locked up, watching everything unfold from behind bars, the frustration builds. He starts speaking out publicly. No more playing it cool, no more staying loyal in silence. He jumps on video calls and goes straight at Rap-A-Lot Records. No coded language, just direct accusations. He claims they pushed him into signing a $200,000 deal with Create Music Group while he was locked up and vulnerable. He says they knew he was desperate, knew he needed money, and capitalized on that moment. Then he drops the number that made everyone freeze. He says the label generated around $10 million from his music catalog while he barely saw a fraction of that. That's the part that shook the timeline, because if that math is even close to accurate, the gap feels massive. He's on live saying, "Give me my YouTube back. That's my page. That's my revenue." He claims the label controlled distribution, controlled streaming payouts, and filtered everything through third-party companies while he had no control from prison. Imagine sitting in a cell knowing your music is still streaming, still generating money, and you feel like you can't even access your own digital platform. That frustration hits different. Then he adds another layer to the story. He says he was the one who introduced Finesse 2 Times to the label. He claims that connection led to major revenue for the company. And according to him, he didn't receive a percentage or finder's fee for that introduction. From his viewpoint, that felt like being cut out of something he helped build. And let's talk about perception. When Brazy first got released from prison, he says there was no big celebration, no luxury rollout, no viral welcome home video, no flashy moments. He quietly went back to Mobile. But when Finesse 2 Times came home later, it looked like a full production. Private jet vibes, cameras rolling, gifts, shopping sprees, everything documented online. From Brazy's angle, that contrast felt loud.
He starts thinking, I stayed loyal, I didn't fold, I didn't speak on certain things, and this is the energy I get back? That kind of realization can change your whole outlook. Late 2023, something unexpected happens. Instead of escalating tension with finesse, they reportedly connect directly. They talk, they compare experiences, and allegedly, they realize they share similar concerns about contracts, payouts, and expectations versus reality. Instead of clashing, they start seeing the bigger picture. That's growth. Brazy later claims that after stepping into independent releases, he made more in 1 week than he did during years under the label structure. Now, whether that's exact numbers or emotional exaggeration, the message is clear. Ownership changes everything. When you own your masters, when you control distribution, even smaller streams can feel bigger because you're keeping a larger share. Fast forward into 2024, Brazy is publicly asking to be released from his contract. He says he requested it multiple times. He claims he wants out, wants freedom, wants control of his own business. But according to him, the answer keeps coming back no. That tension spills onto social media. Lives, posts, comments, he's making it known that he feels trapped. Then the internet explodes. Footage and rumors circulate alleging that someone affiliated with Brazy confronted J. Prince Jr. in Houston. Social media runs wild. Clips get reposted. Street commentary spreads fast. The story paints it as a sudden physical altercation. No heavy security around, just a quick, heated moment that caught everyone off guard. Brazy goes live energized, talking about how someone close to him handled the situation. He snaps his fingers saying it happened quick. Emotions high, pride loud, the streets reacting in real time. The spark? Allegedly, J. Prince Jr. reposted a freestyle from another rapper who had tension with Brazy. In Brazy eyes, that felt like public disrespect, layered on top of business disputes. Business tension plus public shade? That's gasoline on a fire. J. Prince Jr. later posts a message saying he has no hate and wants things kept respectful, trying to calm it down. But once footage and rumors spread, it's hard to slow the narrative. The internet doesn't wait for context. But let's zoom out though, because this is bigger than one confrontation. This is about artist-label relationships in 2024. Transparency matters, communication matters, percentages matter. The industry has a long track record of artists later regretting deals they signed when they were young and desperate. From Motown contracts back in the day, to death row chaos, to early cash money disputes, this pattern is not new. What's different now is visibility. Artists can expose issues in real time. They can go live from prison calls, drop screenshots, tell their side instantly. There's no waiting decades to write a memoir anymore. Now, nobody's saying physical confrontation is the solution, but when artists feel unheard legally and financially, emotions can overflow. That's human nature. And when pride, reputation, and money mix together, situations escalate fast. If communication had been clearer, if splits felt fair on both sides, if expectations were aligned, maybe this never reaches this point. Maybe there's no viral footage, maybe no public back and forth. Honeycomb Brazy has now completed roughly 2.5 years on that gun case. He's back outside. The question now is what happens next? Does the contract situation get resolved? Does mediation happen? Or does tension continue? One thing is clear, newer artists are paying attention. They're studying contracts, hiring independent lawyers, choosing distribution deals instead of traditional label structures, owning masters, controlling publishing, building brands through social media without needing gatekeepers. Artists like Russ, Tech9, and Macklemore showed independence can scale. You don't need to give away ownership to build an empire anymore. The blueprint exists. The lesson here hits hard. Don't sign under pressure. Don't rush when you're desperate. Read every clause, ask questions, get representation, because once that ink dries, getting out isn't simple. For J. Prince Jr., this moment shows that reputation alone doesn't settle disputes. Respect in today's era has to be maintained through transparency and fairness. And for the culture overall, this story is another chapter in the long history of artists demanding control over their own work. The old model is shifting, whether labels like it or not. If you want more deep dives into hip-hop drama and industry secrets, drop a comment and tell me what situation we should break down next. Make sure you like, subscribe to Street Smoke, and hit that notification bell so you stay locked in for the next upload. Share this with someone who needs to understand how these deals really move.